I'm a nutritional consultant, herb specialist. I graduated from Pacific College of Oil and Medicine in their TWENA program. TWENA is a modality where we heal illness and disease in the body, as well as musculoskeletal injuries using Chi. I don't know if you ever heard of Chi, but Chi is like the life force energy in a person's body. In India, I think they call it prana. So I also practice other alternative methods like iridology, kinesiology. Are you familiar with those? Okay, good. Any vegetarians here? Are you good? Not a vegetarian? Okay. Any vegans? Okay, no vegans in the house. Ah, okay, that's all I need. Somebody call me. Yeah, Eddie, I'm in my seminar right now in the Malcolm X library. I'm standing in front of a crowd, and it'd probably be best for you to come by to Malcolm X because I can't really talk to you. I'm on video too. You hear me? Yeah, I'm standing in front of an audience right now at a podium. I got a video camera on me, so I'm going to have to talk to you later. All right. Here, you can actually put my phone over. Anyway, back in 1994, I had the opportunity to join Nature's Sunshine Products. I'm a distributor with them, and I found out Nature's Sunshine is one of those companies that have a real high quality product as far as supplements and herbs. But what really got me into this was health. It's been several times in my life where I had bad health. You saw Eddie Murphy's movie, The Nutty Professor? Remember Big Sherm? Yeah, that was really a page out of my life. I mean, within 48 hours, I went from weighing 150 to like 275 pounds in 48 hours. I mean, it was crazy. I don't know what happened, but my feet just started swelling up. They started swelling up, and then my ankles, it went up to my thighs, and before you know it, in 48 hours, I went 150 to like 275. I just blew up, and I was in the hospital for like 2 months. The doctor said I had a kidney disease, and I was wondering, what happened? Why did this happen to me? How did this happen to me? I'm asking all these questions, and the doctors really couldn't tell me why or how this happened to me. So what I did, I was in the Navy at the time. I went in the medical library at Portsmouth Naval Hospital, and I started reading up on my illness because I said, you know what? I cannot accept this. That's the first thing I did. You have to deal with the mental aspect of things and change. And I said, I will not accept this. I can't accept this. So I went in there and I started reading about my illness, reading about it, learning about it. And from that day on, I just kept going. And through my research, I found out, one, I did not drink water. I used to drink sodas, juice, tea, milk, just about everything, but not plain water. And stress. Stress is the initial cause of all disease. All disease, stress is the initial cause. And at that time, I had myself under a lot of stress. So from that day on, I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to always have bottled water. I'm going to have some water with me all the time, no matter where I go. And I've been doing that since 1984. Making sure I have enough water in my system, making sure that I eat properly, and, here I am today. I had a check with Nature's Sunshine has this sophisticated piece of equipment, and they can tell like your total your total cholesterol, triglycerides, all these different things, and it also can tell your biological age. I found out that my biological age inside my body was 32. And I just made 57. So I think that's a real testament on how I've led my life and the things that I put in my body. So I want to talk today and give you some insight on digestive health and how digestive health can help you. Just realize this laptop probably going to need to be over here. So we're going to go over the digestive system, enzymes, probiotics, the mouth, the stomach, small and large intestines, some supplements, and then we'll open it up for questions. The digestive system is the transformer of food into energy. It takes the food, breaks it down, and makes it into energy. And the higher the source, higher quality of source of food that you put in your body, then the higher the source of energy that you're going to have. And of course, food is basically just to help our bodies repair tissues, our blood to circulate, for us to breathe, for us to walk. So it just supplies nutrients to all our different organs in our body, muscles, tissues, and so forth. Transit time is something that basically tells how long food goes through your body. The average person, it takes 24 hours to digest their food. So transit time is once you put it in your mouth and when it comes out the anus, how long is that time? What I like to call how long it takes to go from the rooter to the tutor. So 24 hours is normal, and sometimes that can change depending on how good your digestion is. It could be too slow, it could be too fast. You know, some people tell me that they don't have a bowel movement but maybe once a week. I've had some people that tell me they have bowel movement maybe every other day. And then some people say, well, I have the bowel movement once a day. And all of those people also tell me that they eat 3 times a day. So if you eat 3 times a day, it's just like a train. When a train comes in the station, a train must go out of the station. If you're eating 3 times a day and you only have 1 bowel movement, that means 3 trains went in and 2 didn't come out. So you got 2 meals backed up in your system, held up in there some way. The next day, if you eat 3 meals again, and you only have 1 bowel movement, now you have 4 meals. Where's they stuck up inside your body? You know, where are these meals doing? What are they doing inside your body? They must come out. You eat 3 meals the next day. You can see it's just adding on. You got 6 meals. If you only make 1 bowel movement, now you got 6 meals backed up in your system. The esophagus, you know, works with something called peristalsis. And peristalsis is basically a squeezing motion. And when the food goes in your mouth, it squeezes it on down the esophagus into the stomach, on through the whole digestive system. You have enzymes, which are real important. Enzymes break down your food and allow for proper digestion and absorption of the food. Now, cooked food, like it says, has no way in giving off enzymes. Because heat basically destroys enzymes. If you heat food, once it gets over 120 degrees, you basically kill all the enzymes, the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, whatever, at 120. And most people cook their food way up around 300, 350, 375, maybe even 400 degrees. So at those temperatures, you're not eating anything nutritious. So non-cooked foods is the way to get more enzymes in the body. And I guess you're thinking now, okay, well, what is non-cooked food? Because I guess if you've been eating mostly cooked food most of your life, and you're still here with us, so I guess you're wondering, okay, well, how and why am I able to get more nutrients, or have I been getting any out of this cooked food? You know, it's a possibility you've probably been getting a very small amount. Do you use supplements?
Not that much.
Not that much. Are you on any prescription or pharmaceuticals?
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you have some issues you're dealing with and you're using pharmaceuticals. Okay. But no supplements.
Only supplement I take is melatonin.
Melatonin. And that, if I'm correct, for sleep? Okay. Well, enzymes, they are required for the body in order to detoxify the body, in order for the body to take your food and break it down. Fat-soluble toxins can turn into water-soluble toxins, which help eliminate easy. If you don't have these enzymes to turn that fat into something that's water-soluble, then you're going to have digestive issues. You're going to have digestive problems. And it's real easy, you know, to have a digestive problem. And we're going to talk a little more about it. But first off, the anatomy of digestion. It starts in the mouth. Okay, when you eat food, it starts in your mouth. The saliva in your mouth has ptyalin, which is amylase. That's an amino acid that helps to break down the food. So your body already has some enzymes, but after the age of, I believe it's 30 or 40, your body doesn't create as many enzymes. That's because we're no longer growing. You know, you're not a 12-year-old, you don't need, you know, all this food for growth and all that. So the body shuts down and cuts back on the production of enzymes after the age of 40. And you may notice you don't eat as much as you did when you was a teenager, right? That's because the body don't need as much food. And also, saliva helps to lubricate the food and let it slide down the esophagus. Now, I've heard some people say, you know what, I don't have a lot of saliva. You know, they say I drink, you know, fluids, soda or water or something like that to wash their food down. And I'm like, what? If you're washing your food down, you're working against your body, because if you give your body something and it stops production on that. So if you eat and drink at the same time, what you're fighting against is your body producing saliva. Okay. Drinking and eating at the same time, some people say, well, I need that to wash the food down. Not necessarily. Your body makes that liquid, which is saliva, to lubricate your food and help it slide down. It could be something as dry as crackers. You still should be able to eat dry crackers without putting any water in your mouth, and it go down. But what happens when a lot of people have been in the habit of eating and drinking at the same time, the production of saliva gets cut back. So you don't have as much saliva to help digest your food. So it's recommended holistically that you drink 1 hour before your meal. Whatever liquid it is, try to drink 1 hour before the meal. That's the first step as far as having good digestion. That could be a digestive issue in itself, not having enough saliva. Because as you see, saliva has amylase. Amylase is an enzyme that helps break down the food as soon as you put it in your mouth. Your saliva is working, breaking down the food. So if you're drinking water or any liquid, soda, whatever, you're basically working against your body to produce more saliva. Okay, more on the anatomy. You have your larynx, your esophagus, and then the food gets down to the stomach. In the stomach, food is mixed with hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid, you have pepsin, which is an enzyme, and it's called chyme. When all that gets with the food, they call it chyme then. Chyme enters the small intestine by way of the pyloric sphincter. The first part of the small intestine is known as the duodenum. The second part is known as the second part of the small intestine is the duodenum, and then you have the duodenum is called the jejunum, and the third part is called the ileum. The three parts work together to absorb starches, proteins, fats, and they help break down all this food. Break it down into smaller units so it can go into the small intestine and hopefully be absorbed into the body. This ends at the ileocecal valve, which also controls the amount of mucus and the exit of chyme into the large intestine. Sometimes if you are eating, and this is probably on the sphincter, pyloric sphincter, sometimes people may get undigested proteins caught up in their digestive system because they're eating and drinking at the same time. When the sphincter valve, that's back to the one leading to the stomach, once food is liquefied somewhat, it opens up and allows it to come into the stomach. So if you're drinking and eating your food, that food may not be properly digested because first the saliva has to, break it down in the mouth. Then it's possible that you're allowing undigested proteins to get into your stomach and on into your system just by you eating and drinking at the same time. Because if the sphincter valve notices that, okay, this stuff is liquid, it'll open up and it'll allow stuff to go in. Another thing on chewing, before I get too far ahead of the mouth, holistically it said you should chew your food 25 to 40 times. Most people don't probably even get nowhere close to 25 times. For proper digestion, you should chew 25 to 40 times. The reason behind that? Well, simple. You want to make sure your food is broken down well into that chyme so it can pass through the system and you don't get these undigested proteins entering into your stomach or into your intestines. That's why it's said that it's good to eat alone. If you eat in the company of other people, basically what's happening, you're talking to them, y'all might be laughing and having fun, you got an outing at a restaurant and you're sitting talking and you're not focusing then on chewing. Somebody might have asked you a question and you got food in your mouth and then you, 1 minute, and so now you're going to try to hurry up and chew this food up so you can answer their question or whatever, and you're not paying attention. Okay, was that 25 times? Was that 20? So you're really not, breaking your food down when you're in the company of other people. You end up gulping it and swallowing down before you even, masticate that food properly. There are more organs in the digestive system than any other system in our body. 2/3 of all your body parts are found in the digestive system. This is where most of the organs are in the digestive system. The average American consumes 40 tons of food in their lifetime. Some of the problems with this system: transit time, either it's too fast or too slow. When the food goes from your ureter to your tutor, it could be too slow. Instead of 24 hours, some people may take 40 hours or 35 to digest a meal. A lack of enzymes, I already said, after the age of 40, your body cuts back on the production of enzymes. So you don't have as many enzymes to help break down that food. The lack of probiotics. Probiotics provide good bacteria in the body, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, and it also helps boost your immunity. Things like hiatal hernia, a lack of hydrochloric acid. A lot of times people get acid reflux or something, and they feel, hey, I'm getting too much acid. And actually, that's not true. You're not getting enough acid. Every time you eat, you should have a bowel movement, like I was saying earlier. One train comes in the station, one train should go out. You eat 3 meals, you should be eliminating at least 3 meals. If you're not, you just count up how many meals you've got backed up. This is the beet juice experimental test. You can try it if you want. It's basically some ingredients you put together, you blend. Do you have a high-speed blender? Okay, that might be a good thing to invest in, and we can talk about that. What you do is make this beet juice with cranberries, and you blend it up. You write down the time when you drink it. You drink it, and then next time you have a bowel movement, you write down that time. And then you see how much time it was between drinking it and when you had the bowel movement. And that is going to basically judge your transit time when food goes from the mouth out the rectum. So you'll see if yours is too fast or if it's too slow. So if you want to write that down, that's the recipe. And actually we can talk about, I guess now, why I feel everybody should be drinking some kind of natural juice. Okay, you know your body basically feeds on vitamins and minerals. So the best way to get good vitamins and minerals in your body, because most people can't eat 2 or 3 oranges in the morning or an apple, you can't eat a half a pound of fruit or so. So put it in a high-speed blender. If you don't have any digestive issues, I would say a high-speed blender is a good investment. People that have chronic or digestive issues like Crohn's disease or colitis or hiatal hernia, stuff like that, may not be best for them to use a high-speed blender. With the high-speed blender, you're going to be able to get these natural fruits, put them in the blender, blend them up, and drink it. Every morning I usually drink 10 to 12 ounces of fresh juice. I have different recipes I make, and I make fresh juice. 10 to 12 ounces I drink. This morning I had a blueberry drink that I made.